New evidence is the only thing that rewrites a life story. If you do not collect it, you keep living inside whatever you said last year. The most dangerous words in your vocabulary are, "That is just how I am." Not because they are true, but because they end the conversation with yourself. Picture a Monday morning. Alarm goes off. You sit up, stare at the ceiling, and say it out loud like a verdict. That is just how I am. Not a morning person. Not consistent. Not disciplined. Then your body rolls back into the old script and nothing has to change. I want you to notice how sneaky that is. It sounds honest, but it is really a wall. And walls feel safe until you realize they also block the exit. Here is the plan. You will get 9 practical moves built around one loop. You pick a sentence that starts with, "I am the kind of person who..." Then you prove it with small actions. Then you log it. By the end, you will have one identity statement, one daily proof action, and a simple tracking method that makes change hard to argue with. Swap this, "That is just how I am," with this, "That is how I have been," until I collect new evidence. New evidence is the point. Because character is practiced, not proclaimed. Stoicism treats identity like a skill you train, not a personality label you defend. Here is the Epictetus translation in modern terms. You do not control your starting wiring. You control your next choice. That is a relief and also a little uncomfortable, because it removes the best excuse. So we separate belief from evidence. Belief says, "I am not a morning person." Evidence says, "I walked outside for 3 minutes at 7:30 in the morning. 5 days this week." One is a story. The other is a receipt. And receipts are harder to argue with when you are tired, stressed, or feeling weirdly stubborn for no reason. Identity becomes a craft you tend. You do not find yourself. You train yourself. That means no dramatic reinvention. No waiting until you feel like it. Just small proofs repeated until the story changes. Principle 1. The Identity Upgrade Loop. The Identity Upgrade Loop is how you turn a nice self-description into actual proof. It takes the pressure off personality and puts it on a tiny, repeatable action. Imagine you are venting to a friend after doing the same thing again. They say, "You are always like this." Your stomach tightens because part of you agrees. Then you answer, "No. This is a pattern I have practiced. I can practice a new one." That sentence is the hinge. Stoicism treats identity as the result of repeated judgments and choices, not a birth certificate. You are not locked into the version of you that showed up last month. You are the person who makes the next choice, even when it feels awkward and a little fake at first. Here is the loop in one line. I am the kind of person who blank. So today, I will prove it by blank for 2 minutes. Then you write it down. 1 line a day. Identity plus proof action. No speeches. If you try to prove it with something big, the loop snaps. So the next step is shrinking your proof until it is almost too easy to skip. Principle 2. The 2-minute proof. 2-minute proof is how you keep the identity upgrade loop from turning into a fantasy. If your proof is too big, you will negotiate with yourself until you lose. Picture 10:47 at night. You are standing in the kitchen with the fridge open. scrolling with one thumb, telling yourself, I will start tomorrow. It sounds responsible. It also quietly protects the old pattern. Then you try the new move. 2 minutes counts. I am building proof, not perfection. It feels almost embarrassing how small it is, which is exactly why it works. Stoic practice does not negotiate with mood. It picks the smallest virtuous act available and does it anyway. Your job is to make the proof action so easy that even your tired brain cannot argue. Here is the rule. If it takes more than 2 minutes, it is not a proof action yet. Shrink it. 2 minutes of walking outside. 2 minutes of tidying one surface. 2 minutes of writing one honest sentence. Then track proof minutes daily. 0, 2, 5. Tone. You are training consistency, not intensity. 2 minutes still needs a trigger. And the next principle installs that trigger with one simple if-then link. Principle 3. The if-then identity trigger. If-then trigger is how your 2-minute proof stops depending on memory and starts running on autopilot. You are not trying to be a different person in the abstract. You are attaching a new action to something you already do every day. Picture an office morning. You walk in, drop your bag, and your brain offers the usual line. I am not a morning person. Instead of arguing with it, you use a link. If I start the coffee, then I do 2 minutes of movement. 2 minutes in the hallway. 2 minutes of slow squats next to your desk. It is small enough to feel almost silly, which is the point. Stoicism is system-friendly. We do not rise to our intentions. We fall to our systems. So you pick one anchor you can count on, not a mood you hope for. Coffee, brushing teeth, locking your computer, getting into the car. Say it once. Write it once. Then repeat it. If anchor happens, then I do my proof action, and you track it with a simple checkbox. Anchor happened. Proof happened. You are training the link. Triggers break when your environment fights you. So the next move is making your space cooperate without asking for willpower. Principle 4. Environment as a silent coach. Friction audit is the moment you admit your environment has been coaching you the whole time, just in the wrong direction. If your if-then trigger keeps breaking, it is usually not a character flaw. It is a layout problem. Picture this. Your gym bag is buried in a closet behind winter coats. Your shoes are under a pile of stuff you keep meaning to sort. Then you tell yourself you lack willpower. But watch what happens when the shoes are by the door. Suddenly the proof action feels obvious instead of negotiable. That is the Stoic angle. Discipline is easier when friction is engineered out. You do not argue your way into better behavior. You arrange your way into it. So do one checklist move today. Put the proof action in your path. Shoes by the door. Journal on the pillow. Water bottle on the desk. Charging cable in another room if your proof is less scrolling. Make the good choice the lazy choice. Then take one photo of your setup so you cannot pretend you forgot. Each day rate friction from 1 to 5. Even with a perfect setup, your brain will still argue. And the next principle shuts down that internal debate fast. Principle 5. The I don't do that replacement script. Identity script swap is how you stop the internal debate fast. Because you replace the old label with a clean sentence, you can actually practice when your brain wants to say, "That is just how I am." You give it a new line to read. Picture a kitchen after a long day. Someone says, "You are always defensive." You feel the heat rise in your chest and your mouth gets ready to fight. The old move is automatic. "That is just how I am." The new move is awkward for about 10 seconds. And then it gets easier. You say, "I am practicing calm responses. Give me 10 seconds. Then you breathe. Look at the floor for a beat. And answer the actual point instead of defending your pride. That is the Stoic skill in modern language. You are not your impulse. You are the agent who chooses after the impulse. Use this script. I do not do blank anymore. I am practicing blank. Keep it short enough to remember when you are triggered. Track recovery time. How many minutes until you are back to calm? Scripts work best when they are backed by proof. So the next principle shows how to collect proof without announcing it. Principle 6. Evidence beats talk. Evidence beats talk because talking feels like progress while it quietly steals the need to act. If you have ever told someone, "I am going to become disciplined," notice how your brain relaxes right after. You got the social reward without doing the work. So try the Stoic move. Say nothing. Do the proof action. Log it. That is it. It sounds almost too plain. But that plainness is the advantage. No performance. No pressure to live up to a public announcement. Just a private decision and a receipt. Stoicism is lived in private. Reputation follows behavior, not declarations. When you keep it quiet, you protect the fragile early stage where the new identity still feels awkward, and you are one bad day away from quitting. Here is the rule to run for 1 week. Do not announce upgrades. Archive evidence. Put the proof in your ledger and move on. Then do a weekly count. How many proof actions did I do without telling anyone? That number is your real momentum. But what happens when you slip or miss a day? The next principle makes sure a setback stays an event, not an identity. Principle 7. The setback rewrite, no identity damage. Never miss twice is the rule that keeps evidence beats talk from collapsing the first time life gets messy. Because you will miss. Not because you are broken, but because you are human and schedules are imperfect. Picture the moment. You skip a day. Old voice shows up fast. Say, "I am lazy." It feels weirdly satisfying. Like, at least the story is consistent. Then you rewrite it. 1 miss is an event. 2 misses is a pattern. I protect the pattern. That sentence turns a moral meltdown into a practical decision. Stoicism cares less about what happened and more about what you make it mean. Events do not define you. Your interpretation does. And interpretations can be edited. Here is the deliverable. Never miss twice. If you miss, your next proof action becomes automatic and tiny. 2 minutes. No negotiation. Walk to the mailbox. Open the notebook and write 1 line. Do 1 set of anything. You are not chasing intensity. You are keeping the identity alive. Track 2 things. Streaks and resets. How fast you return matters more than how long you last. Now we upgrade identity in specific arenas. And the next principle shows how to pick the right one. Principle 8. Choose one identity, not 10. One identity focus is how you protect the pattern you just rebuilt, because the fastest way to break "never miss twice" is trying to become 10 different people at the same time. Picture a work setting on a Sunday night. You open a notes app and write a heroic list. Fix sleep, get in shape, clean up finances, improve focus, be better in relationships. Starting Monday. It feels organized for about 30 seconds. Then Monday happens and reality wins. Nothing changes, because nothing was specific enough to execute when you are tired and distracted. Stoicism is allergic to scatter. Scatter is weakness. Focus is virtue in action, not the moral kind, the practical kind. One target means you can actually collect evidence. So pick one identity for 7 days. Keep it broad enough to matter and narrow enough to prove. I am the kind of person who keeps promises to myself. Then choose one proof action that fits in 2 minutes. Use one metric only. Did you complete the daily proof action? Yes or no? Final principle is how to make the identity statement believable to you, even on days when motivation is missing. Principle 9. Belief versus evidence audit. Evidence audit is where one identity focus becomes believable, because you stop trusting your mood and start trusting your record. Evidence audit also keeps you from calling yourself inconsistent when you are just tired and dramatic. Picture the moment. You glance at your week and say, I am not consistent. It comes out like a diagnosis, and it drains your energy in one sentence. Then you switch to the audit voice. What evidence do I have from the last 7 days? You open the ledger and suddenly the story gets quieter. Here is the Stoic part. Your mind lies when it is emotional. The ledger tells the truth. Not a flattering truth, just a usable one. It shows what you actually did, what you skipped, and what conditions made you drift. Run 4 questions. No overthinking. What did I do? How often? Under what conditions did it work? What is the smallest next proof I can repeat tomorrow? Do a weekly 5-minute review. Adjust the proof, action size up or down, so it stays doable. If you keep missing, shrink it. If you keep winning, add a minute. Now we crush the biggest objection people use to protect the old identity. Evidence audit just pulled your story out of your feelings and into facts. So, here is the last trap people use to escape the facts. If I have to practice it, it is fake. The real me should be effortless. And yes, practicing can feel awkward, like you are wearing a jacket that does not fit yet, which is why the mind calls it fake. But effortless is not real. Effortless is just what you have practiced the longest, good or bad. You do not call driving fake because it used to take effort. You practiced until it became automatic. That is just how I am is usually a polite way of saying, I do not want the discomfort of changing today. You can admit that without shame and still choose the next proof action. Authenticity is not obeying your current defaults. Authenticity is acting in line with your chosen values, even when it is inconvenient. Example, after work you plan to exercise, but you sink into the couch and say, that is just how I am, I never stick with it. Notice the discomfort and choose one 2-minute proof instead. Put your shoes on and walk outside to the mailbox and back. Then open your notes and write, I am the kind of person who keeps promises to myself. Log it. That small receipt boosts self-respect more than any motivational speech. Run the 7-day identity upgrade. Pick one identity sentence that starts with, I am the kind of person who. Then pick one 2-minute proof action that makes it true today. Keep it unglamorous on purpose, because consistency beats intensity. Track it in an evidence ledger with 7 lines. Each day, write the date, the identity, the proof action, whether you did it yes or no, and a friction score from 1 to 5. Friction matters because it tells you what to change in your setup, not what to blame in yourself. Your win condition is simple. 5 of 7 proofs completed. Bonus points if you miss a day, and still honor never miss twice at least once. Evidence is your exit from that is just how I am. And you already know what your proof action is. Your next move is not inspiration. It is a receipt. Pick one identity. Pick one 2-minute action. Log it for 7 days. It will feel almost too small at first. And that is fine. Small is repeatable. Repeatable becomes real. If you want, drop your identity sentence in the comments, starting with, I am the kind of person who. Keep it simple. Keep it testable. Something you can prove before lunch. Not a personality essay. And if you want more Stoic systems like this, practical and repeatable without the hype, subscribe. In the next video, we take this same identity upgrade loop and build the boundary version, the one that protects your time when other people try to spend it for you.